All right, the final match of the Laver Cup, or at least the final singles match of the Laver Cup. Zverev Fritz. It's a classic. If you don't know, I'll tell you, because they've played a lot over the last couple of, last 12 months. They've played so much tennis over the last 12 months. And Fritz has won them all. Fritz has pretty much won every match they've played for the last, I want to say, at least in the last 6 matches in a row, I think. 8-5 to head-to-head in favor of Fritz. But yeah, Fritz has won the last 5 matches in a row, including a match here in the middle of that 5. So the third match in a row, it was here, and then he won 2 more after that, including Stuttgart this year in the final, where he took out Zverev again. They've always been pretty close matches. Last time, actually, that Zverev got a win against Fritz was in Rome last year. On the clay. But Fritz has won at Wimbledon, US Open, Laver Cup, ATP Finals, and Stuttgart. And now, to win the Laver Cup, it's on Fritz. Maybe that helps Zverev. Maybe the pressure of winning the Laver Cup is going to be on Fritz again, like it was last year, where he had a chance to win and he couldn't do it. But yeah, let's see if Zverev can turn the tables. Jay, thank you for the $3. So happy for the dude showed up, singles and doubles. Yeah. Fritzon's balls the ball yesterday and caught completely off guard. I agree. Thank you for the 3. But here we go. Final match. Final match of the day. Final singles match of the tournament. If they do, by the way, if the Europeans do win this match, we will have one set of doubles to decide the Laver Cup, which I don't think it's ever happened. So, yeah. Yala's not playing today. All right. Trust me, I'd know. My name is Cam, and I'm the #1 fan, so I'd know. I would know. All right. Fritz beat Carlos. He's going to have a lot of confidence in going against Zverev, of course. But a lot of expectation because Fritz is the favorite in this matchup. Like, Fritz is the one that he's supposed to win. He is the favorite. So that's going to be interesting. If Sasha doesn't get this, he'll be crushed. Maybe. All right. Agassi the Grape Hype Man. I loved Agassi this week. He's been so great. I hope he comes back next year. I hope they get Agassi again next year. And look, I know Jannik Noah hasn't... I mean, look, people are going to compare Jannik Noah to Agassi because that's just easy. But I don't think Jannik Noah's been that bad. I think he's been pretty good, Jannik Noah. First day, he was a little bit... It seemed like he was a little bit reserved. But I think the last couple of days, he's, especially in the doubles, he's been a lot more outward. I don't know. He's been like a lot louder, which I like. You know, I think he's been, but he hasn't. Obviously, Agassi's been the highlight, but I think he's been pretty good, Jannik Noah. I think they should bring them back next year. You know, both of them back next year. So I'm just going through here. So the last, they've actually played a final match. It's gone down to the final match a couple of times here before. Last year, Alcaraz won 6-2, 7-5 to beat Fritz to win the Laver Cup in the final match of the tournament. 2023, they didn't even get to the second match of the last day. It was over in one. They didn't get to the final match in 2022. But it would have been Fritz versus Ruud had that have happened, but it wasn't. So that didn't happen. 2021, also no final match needed. Then 2019, Zverev beat Raonic in the final match of the tournament to win the Laver Cup. Had he have lost that, it would have been Team World who won. So that was the most, that was the scariest, or the most pressure Zverev's felt at this Laver Cup until today. 2018, they didn't play a final match because they didn't need to. And then the first ever Laver Cup, it was Federer beating Kyrgios in the final match to take it. So it's a few times, half the time we've gone to the final match, which is what they want, right? They don't want to have like one match on day 3 and then it's over, right? They want it to go down to the wire if they can. So this is perfect situation. And we've never had tied after 3 days. So that also could be a possibility if Zverev does get the win. So that's on the card as well, which would be a first for Laver Cup. But I love this tournament. I love the Laver Cup. I think it's a great event. And I think I can't wait till it gets to like Laver Cup 20. I think that's when, once we get to like Laver Cup like 20, and we have a lot of like that, even right now, there's such a great history behind the Laver Cup because it's got some of the most memorable team ups of all time. You had Nadal, Federer playing doubles together, right? You had the big four playing all at the same time, right? There's just been so many little things, and now with Alcaraz sort of coming in and dragging Team Europe through to the finish line last year and maybe this year, but I love the history of the Laver Cup, and it just needs time. It needs a little bit more time. Maybe when we get to 15 to 20 Laver Cups, that's when it will start to be maybe more respected throughout the entire tennis community, not just those who are hardcore fans, or at least those who are we're definitely pro Laver Cup. I know there's still people are trying to, people don't take it seriously, but I think once we get to like 15 to 20, I think that's when things are going to get really, and if Sinner jumps on and we start getting these like Fonseca Alcaraz matches that people want to see, like I think once we get to those stages and we've had a lot of history, I think that's when it's going to start becoming, a staple and iconic, right? All right. This is going to be a very interesting chat. I've been waiting for this match all week. I thought we'd get it yesterday. I've been wanting this match the entire time. Fritz versus Zverev, that was the match that I wanted from the start. And we get it at the end. So I'm happy. Can Zverev recover? Or will Fritz beat him again to redeem himself from last year? And look, no shame in losing Alcaraz last year, but for him to get a little bit of a redemption. He beat Alcaraz yesterday, best win of his career. Can he beat Zverev to lift the trophy for a Team World? Or is Zverev going to win his 6th Laver Cup? That's crazy. 6 Laver Cups in 8? Zverev is always on the winning team? It's crazy. All right. Fritz to serve. I'm going to go Fritz in 3. I reckon it goes down to the final set tiebreakers. Fritz hits a winner, 15-love. I reckon we're going right down to the very last tiebreak. All right. All right. 15-love. All right. All right, 30-love. If you are only here to complain, why are you here? Who's complaining? Who's complaining? Who the hell is complaining again? What the hell? 30-love. Backhand down the line of the forehand to Zverev. Into the forehand of Fritz. Zverev forehand. Into the net. 40-love. 40-love. Love Fritz. First game. All right. Good start from Fritz. 1-0. Zverev thought it was a let. And Fritz is like, I didn't hear it. I think Zverev thought it was a... Zverev is already starting to feel... Zverev is already getting in a bit of a mood. And that's not good for Team Europe. He needs to be positive. You need Alcaraz out there to give him some positive vibes. Okay. 1-0 Fritz. Zverev is already feeling like this is against him. They need Alcaraz back out there to start hyping him up. If anybody can help Zverev, it's Alcaraz. That's it. It's got to be Alcaraz. No one else can help Zverev. It has to be Alcaraz. He has to get. They need it. The quicker they get Alcaraz from the changing room and the cool down as fast as possible, they need it. Because of course he might play doubles, so he can't really just kind of skip the cool down because he might have to play doubles later. But they need him out there like with Zverev because Zverev is already looking sad. Love 15. Zverev's already looking like yesterday where he lost it. He was looking like somebody stole his lollipop. He was bro was sad. Someone stole his ice cream. Love 15. Just sitting there like, we need Alcaraz. Get that man an ice cream. Back into backhand rally. As Fritz again, the backhand of Zverev. Into the backhand of Fritz. Zverev backhand again. To the backhand of Fritz. Fritz hits it long. 15-0. First point Zverev's won today. $15-0. As Zverev serves again. Serve again. Into the forehand of Fritz. And Zverev backhand wide. 15-30. 15-30. 15-30. As return goes into the backhand of Zverev. Backhand for Fritz. The backhand Zverev to the forehand of Fritz. Zverev with the forehand cross court. Fritz on the attack. Again to the forehand of Zverev. To the backhand of Fritz. Zverev backhand. Again to the backhand of Fritz. To the backhand of Zverev. It's Fritz with the forehand. Again to the backhand of Zverev. Fritz with the forehand cross court. Zverev gets it. Again to the forehand of Fritz. Zverev forehand again. Goes to the backhand of Fritz. The backhand of Zverev. As Fritz backhand again. Into the slice of Zverev. Fritz forehand again. To the backhand slice of Zverev. Fritz again with the forehand. As Zverev gets on the stretch. Fritz stays back. Backhand to backhand rally. As Fritz backhand again. The backhand of Zverev. Into the backhand of Fritz. Down the line to the forehand of Zverev. Fritz backhand again. Into the backhand of Zverev as Fritz runs around, hits the forehand inside out. Zverev gets the backhand down the middle. Fritz forehand cross court. Zverev gets it. Fritz forehand down the line. Zverev gets it with the backhand. Fritz drop shot. Zverev's going to get it. But hit it long. What a rally. That was 40 shots. That was 40 shots. That was definitely 40 shots. 15-40. There was a couple of times there that Fritz could have come to the net, and he would have against Alcaraz yesterday, but because he knows Zverev is not as scary, he stays back. And I don't mind that. I mean, to be honest, I prefer him to go to the net and finish the point, Fritz. Play positive like yesterday, but because Zverev is, like, when you get Zverev in a rally, it's going to be hard to beat him. By the way, Pelka nearly punched everybody in the whole row because he just went like this. And that would have, like, his arm is so long, he would have just taken out every single person on his team in one swoop. He nearly knocked out half his team with that one punch. He was just like, let's go! And Pat Rafter, whoa! What the fuck? What the hell? Riley, calm down. 15-40. Fritz. Second serve coming up. Agassi's fired up too, which we love. He was being pretty quiet today, Agassi, except for when Demonor was playing. But he hasn't been too vocal today. Hasn't needed to, really. Backhand to backhand rallies. That goes out by Zverev. Fritz. 2-love. He breaks. It was a 42. 42 shot rally. Madness. I knew that we're going to get some of those rallies, though, because these two guys... It's funny, because part of the problem with these two guys is that they don't try to win points. They stay back and they wait. But when they play each other, it makes for some crazy rallies. So, like, it might not be good. This is a bad tactic to play against Alcaraz or Sinner or Djokovic. But when they do it against each other, it's like, 42-shot rally. You know, it's not like, it's not something that will cost them the match. Even though I'd rather them be a little bit more proactive and a little bit more positive, like we saw with Fritz yesterday, which was the greatest version we've ever seen of Fritz. But today he doesn't have to play like that because he's not playing Alcaraz today. As Fritz serves a fault second serve. Yeah, where the hell's Alcaraz at? We need Alcaraz to give Zverev something. Backhand to backhand rally. Fritz comes to the net now, but Zverev hits it long. 15-love. If Fritz can just add that to his game, that little bit of proactivity, I guess you could call it, coming to the net, if he could like add that little bit extra to his game, he's already in top 5. I mean, I don't think he beats Alcaraz and Sinner consistently, but that little bit of just moving forward might just be a bit of a game changer and keep him in the top 4 for longer, right? It might just, like, that might be the next evolution of Fritz. As with a backhand slice from Zverev into the forehand of Fritz. Fritz comes to the net again and wins a point, 30-love. And it's funny because we always say about Zverev, right? We're always like, man, I wish he was more aggressive. I wish he was more aggressive against those big guys. He's too passive. Fritz is doing what we all want Zverev to do. At least the last 2 days, Fritz has done that, right? Like, this is what we want to see Zverev do against Alcaraz and Sinner and everybody. And I know they've got different, game style. Like, they got different technique. So maybe the technique as Zverev doesn't work when it comes to like being more aggressive. He needs bigger. He's got bigger ground stroke, a big take back, right? So maybe he doesn't have that time as Fritz hits a winner 40-love. Whereas Fritz is a little bit more punchy when he hits the backhand, for example. Has this massive swing. Whereas Zverev is like wind up and boom. Whereas Fritz is more like a little bit more of a punch. So maybe Fritz can do that and Zverev can't. But again, it's something that we all want to see Zverev do more of, and we can see that it works when somebody else does. Like Fritz is more of a Zverev, but then when he plays more like an Alcaraz, look what happened yesterday. 40-love. But this might be the next evolution of Fritz. And I love that. I love that for Fritz. Fritz is, I mean, the last 5 years, probably the last 4 years, Fritz has been, I've been so impressed by Fritz. Like, he is, I never would have thought he'd be the best American. And it's like, I know Shelton's good. And like, Shelton might overtake him eventually. But right now, I mean, it's so, like, Fritz is so good. Like, he's up there. He's just behind Djokovic when it comes to, like, the two top guys and you got Sinkaraz, Djokovic, and then Fritz and maybe Zverev as well. Like, he's just right up there. And you go, I never would have thought Fritz was going to be up there like that. I would never have compared Fritz and Zverev even 2 years ago. Like, it's crazy. 3-love Fritz. But now it's like, this guy can play. This guy's he deserves another 1,000 Fritz. You know, I think that's what he's missing. He's better than just a one hit 1,000 wonder. He deserves another 1,000 because one's not enough. That's not the way that he's been playing. He's better than just one. Now, where's he going to get it? I don't know, but maybe he gets it in Paris at the end of the year. Maybe if Sinner and Alcaraz take a seat, maybe he wins that. But I love it. I love how good Fritz has been. The last 12 months. It's been so nice. Probably like 18 months. We'll give him a bit longer. 18 months. Last 2 seasons. Been great. He's really stepped up. Fritz can never beat Novak, and he might not have. Well, he might not have to. Like, what do you mean Novak? I'm sorry, is Novak like 25 years old and just getting started? No. He doesn't have to beat Novak. Because Fritz is going to be playing longer than Novak. So, Novak retires, then the problem's solved. He doesn't have to beat Novak. He has to beat Sinner and Alcaraz at a Grand Slam. That's the hard part. You don't have to beat Novak. Who cares? Novak ain't going to be around. Fritz doesn't have to worry about Novak. Also, Novak's not even playing for the rest of the year, so... All right. 3-love. Let's see if Zverev can get on the board here. As he gets a good serve there, and it's 15-love. All right. $15-love. As with a 400 rally, Zverev with the backhand down the line in the net. It's the 15-0. 15-0. All right. 15-0. Zverev serves again. Into the backhand of Fritz. Zverev backhand down the line's a winner for 30-15. By the way, Dutchy, thank you for sending me that. So I just read about what Zverev said in the press conference about yesterday's match, how he had a back problem and he wasn't serving well. That sucks that happened yesterday and that affected his match yesterday. But if he has a back issue, why in the hell would they put him on today? Why would the Europeans be like, oh, we're going to put an injured guy in for the most important match of the day? Why would you do that? So it's either he has a back problem and they've gone with him anyway against Fritz, which is ridiculous because Fritz is the best player on the team world. Or it's not that bad and it only hurt him yesterday and he's okay. I mean, either way, it's like, what are we doing? Like, an injured Zverev over like a healthy Rude? Hell no. Why would you do that? Or he was, making an excuse for the loss yesterday. I don't know. Saying, oh, well, I couldn't do much because of my back. You go, okay. But then why is he playing now if his back hurts? That's a terrible idea. Terrible for Team Europe. Especially when it's like the match that you need to win. 30-0. So, like, I don't know what Europe are thinking. If Zverev's injured or not, or, like, I don't know what's going on. Like, if he gets beaten badly today and he goes, oh, my back, you go, well, why'd you play? It's going to cost Europe the win if his back is going to cost them the win. I'd rather put a healthy player in that loses than, like, you put a Runer in or something. Like, what are we doing? 30-0. It sucks, though, if he has a back issue, but I mean, you're costing 5 points for your team if you've got a back problem in playing. Like, what are you doing? You can't be putting an injured guy in the final match. That's crazy. 30-0. Serve to the backhand of Fritz. Return goes to the backhand of Zverev. Fritz with the forehand. Again to the forehand of Zverev. To the forehand of Fritz. Zverev backhand slice in the net. All right. 30-40. 30-40. To get the double break. Poor captaining. I don't know if it's a captain. I mean, maybe it is. And look, maybe Yannick Noah and Tim Henman are a little bit like, they don't want to impose themselves too much on this team because they want to be, maybe they're being a bit nice and letting the players dictate what happens. But I'll tell you, if you're in Team Europe and you've got a guy who's injured and then you're like, well, we got to win that match, so we need you to be 100% or not play. That needs to be said. Backhand to backhand rally. As that goes down the line from Zverev, forehand from Fritz to the backhand of Zverev. Fritz forehand again. Into the forehand of Zverev. To the backhand of Fritz. And Zverev backhand again. Into the forehand of Fritz. Cross court. Zverev gets it. Again to the forehand of Fritz. Zverev with a slice. And it's Fritz backhand again. Into the backhand of Zverev. Down the line's a good shot. Fritz gets it. Zverev forehand down the line. Fritz is going to get there with a lob. But Zverev with a smash. Oh, straight to Fritz! And then Zverev with a volley winner. Oh, that's unlucky for Fritz. He had a chance. They gave him a look. Deuce. But yeah, that is so... Like, that is such a strange choice to put in a guy who says that he's hurt. But I think it's also Zverev being like, I want to play. And maybe the captains are like, hey, if you want to play, we'll let you play. But I'm like, what? That's such a risk. That's such a risk. Especially when you've got Ruud and Rune who are totally healthy and capable, right? Ruud also, I'm so shocked Ruud didn't get a chance today. I can't believe that. I can't believe they didn't give Ruud a shot today. Anyways, 4-1 in the net by Zverev. Advantage Fritz. Like, I know he played the doubles, but I'm so shocked that they went with Menchik over Ruud and also Zverev over Ruud. Ruud was so good day one, and he's so reliable. And Ruud could beat de Minaur and he can beat Fritz. Like, he can play them. So if I'm Europe, I'm going, like, why the hell did I not put on Ruud? Like, Ruud Alcaraz doubles, Ruud Alcaraz singles, and then whoever wants to play the other singles. That's the play. Why did they not do that? Especially if you've got an injured Zverev. That's insane. Advantage Fritz for a double break. Crazy. Anyways, backhand return. Into the forehand of Zverev, Fritz with the backhand. Into the forehand of Zverev is Fritz with the forehand on the stretch. Zverev gets it. Again to the forehand of Fritz. Is Zverev forehand again. To the forehand of Fritz. Again to the forehand of Zverev. Fritz with a slice. Goes in the net and Zverev survives. Back to deuce. Ruud should have definitely played. Well, he did play singles. But doubles, sorry. But he should have played singles. They should have trusted him. Because I know Menchik played and they gave him a chance and it didn't work out. But I would have thought that, like, you let Menchik play, but you replace Zverev, especially against... They were always going to put Fritz against Zverev. What's Ruud versus Fritz? Is that closer? Or maybe it's a worse head-to-head. Maybe it's bad. Maybe he's never beaten him. No, Ruud beat him last time they played in Madrid. 3-1 Ruud against Fritz. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Including an indoor hardcourt win at the ATP Finals in 2022. Are you kidding me? How is Ruud not playing? That's insane. How do you not put on Casper Ruud? Now, de Minaur 2-0 against Ruud, including Acapulco last year. But still, that's crazy to me. Zverev on the board 3-1. That's crazy. They would not put Ruud. At least make Team World play Ruud. 5-4 Cerundolo against Ruud. Including last year's Laver Cup. So maybe they were a little scared of Cerundolo Ruud, but I don't know, man. I'm just trying to think of why they would have not put Ruud. If you put Ruud in instead of Menchik, then maybe they go Cerundolo Ruud, Alcaraz, de Minaur, and then Fritz versus Zverev anyway. And maybe Cerundolo beats Ruud, and de Minaur loses to Alcaraz, and then we're here anyway. I don't know. I don't get it, man. Love 15. But then again, Zverev might come back and win, and that doesn't matter. But or do you put Ruud in instead of Zverev, and then you get this match, Fritz versus Ruud instead, which means it would be advantage Ruud. Or do they go Menchik versus Fritz first match, and then you would have de Minaur, or maybe de Minaur Ruud in the final match? I don't know. Anyways, 4-0 from Fritz. Zverev with a lob. Goes long. 15-0. I reckon Ruud was the play. I reckon they mucked that up. Ruud would have made Team World think so much more about matchups. Chad, am I making sense? 15 all. Ace out wide, 30-15. Rude's 3-1 against Fritz as well. Why not put him in? Yeah, but you got to remember, like, if they had put Rude, if they said last night, hey, we're going to have Rude in the singles, then they would have matched somebody else up against him. They wouldn't have matched up Fritz. Because remember what happens is Team Europe nominate who they want to play, and then Team Europe nominate who they want, who's going to play, and then Team World do the matchups. So they go, well, we're going to put Demonor against Menchik. So they go, these are the guys, and they go, we're going to play these guys, right? So Rude wouldn't have played Fritz if Team World had the opportunity, like Team World made the choice, right? But then you go, well, what would have happened? If you put Rude in instead of Menchik, then maybe it's still the same lineup, which doesn't really favor Europe anyway, because Zverev against Fritz was always going to happen. So maybe you replace Zverev with Rude, and then it means that Fritz plays Menchik, and then Alcaraz will play maybe Demonor or Cerundolo, and then maybe Demonor plays Rude, right? So that way, does Rude have a better chance against Demonor than Zverev does have against Fritz? That's the question. Maybe today, yes. You know what I mean? Like, bench Zverev to bring Rude in, and then they would flip. Menchik would kind of become a sacrifice to Fritz, even though I think Menchik would do well against Fritz. And then you put Demonor down to Rude, and that would be what we watch now. Demonor versus Rude. And that feels like it could be a lot closer than what we've seen with Menchik and Zverev. Like, you know what I'm saying? But again, maybe Zverev comes back. I don't know. But yeah, if Zverev is not 100%, why is he playing the crucial match? Thanks, Gene. Yeah, Gil's look, a lot of things that Gil has such a. I know exactly where Gil's coming from every time I listen to what he says. He's the man, Gil Gross, and he's saying exactly what I'm thinking. That's exactly what I'm thinking. If he's not 100%, why would you play Zverev when it's a team event and it's like what like. No, against Fritz, who just had the biggest win of his career and is riding high off confidence. Like, why would you put an injured Zverev against this Fritz when the head-to-head is also terrible for Zverev? Like, it's like, what are we doing? That makes me think that what the conversation was that Henman and Noah didn't make the matchups. They went, who wants to play? And they didn't question Zverev. They just went, oh, Sasha wants to play? Let's let him play. And somebody says, weak captaincy. I think it's just them not wanting, if that's what happened, I just think it's them not wanting to impose themselves too much and piss people off. I think they want to just be like, all right, he wants to play, let's let him play. And not be like too forceful. Whereas I think if it was on the Team World, it would be a little bit more like, well, dude, you're not 100%. We're not risking it. We're going to put someone else in, all right? Like, I think if Agassi was the captain, he wouldn't let Zverev play. Or if, McEnroe last year, right? I think they would have been a little bit more forceful and gone, you know what? We're not going to risk it. We have to, we're a team. We have to win. It's a team event. We can't have you coming in and not being ready and risk. It's not worth the risk. We have to win. It's a team thing. And he would be benched. But maybe that's what happened. Maybe the captains were like a little more, let's let the players decide rather than them being like, we need to win. Do this, and this, right? Maybe they're a little bit less, like I said, a little bit more hands-off, maybe. And look, I think that's what the Europeans have dealt with the whole time. Because remember, Borg didn't really do much. He didn't seem to be too hands-on. He was a bit more like, oh, well, I've got good players, I'll let them play. I don't need to do much, right? And maybe that's just been like, and I talked about this I think yesterday, the culture of the two different teams, right? The culture of Team World is together, where, team chemistry, all-time high. If there's a new person who comes in, they're embraced, right? Fonseca looks like he's been friends with these guys for years. They just bring him in. Whereas Team Europe look like a bunch of singles players who just met for the first time and they're just on the bench because they have to be. It's like a group project that you don't get to pick your friends. And you go with randoms and you're like, oh, let's just get through this. Like, that's what Europeans look like, right? And it all kind of comes from the captains. Maybe, in the past, maybe the captains haven't been as involved and they've kind of been like, well, Team Europe's chill. They don't boss us around. But maybe that's what they need. Maybe Team Europe need a bossy captain next time. Maybe they need Lendl. Maybe they need Boris Becker, right? Somebody who's going to come in there and go, hey, Alcaraz is good, but we need somebody else to step up. Alcaraz can't do it alone. We need him to support for him. Who's going to step up? Like that? I think Europeans would do well with that. Or maybe they would do terrible. But I feel like they need that. Because if they lose this, they've lost 3 out of 4. And Alcaraz was the only reason they won last year. So one guy has avoided them losing 4 in a row. Something needs to change. And it starts with maybe Yannick Noah needs to be a little bit more. Maybe he needs to bring some French players on, right? Maybe he brings in a Fils, right? Maybe he brings in like an Humbert, right? Somebody, like some French players that maybe he can feel comfortable telling what to do. And that kind of feeds into everybody else. I don't know. Anyways, 30-year-old Zverev hanging on. Or do they bring in an older player who's going to be a little more bossy, right? Maybe they bring in someone who's like in their 30s that's going to be a little bit more of a captain slash player, right? Maybe that's the key. I don't know. All right, 30-year-old. Serve to the forehand of Fritz. Volley from Zverev is good. Fritz gets there with a lob, though. But it goes long. 40-30. Chat, what do you guys think? What are your thoughts? Fils is injured. Yeah, maybe, but like I'm saying, in the future, maybe he should bring Fils next year, right? Not saying he couldn't have Fils now, but when did it come out that Zverev was hurt? Yesterday in the press conference after he lost to Demon. And his serving speeds are down. So I don't think he's saying that he's injured. And because he lost. There's definitely data to back that up. His serve speeds are down, which indicate there's a problem. Back into backhand rally. As we got a forehand now from Fritz. Into the forehand of Zverev. Fritz with a slice. Into the forehand of Zverev. As Fritz with the backhand cross court. Zverev gets with his backhand. And then Fritz with a drop shot or a short slice. Zverev comes to the net. Fritz with a pass. Ooh, just went wide. All right, 4-2. See, I don't think Zverev I don't think Zverev used it I think he's got a legitimate back issue. I don't think he said it wasn't a major issue, but it's affecting his serve, which is a weapon he needs. Affecting him yesterday, and it's affecting him today. Why? Why did they let him play? Why did they risk Zverev? That's the question. And again, maybe it's because Henman and Noah were like, if Zverev wants to play, we let him play. But that's where you need someone to come in and go, no. If you're not playing well, if you're not 100% and you're low in confidence after yesterday, we need somebody who's healthy, but also could win and deal with all that. We can't have your back breaking halfway through the most important match of the tournament. That's not how you win by putting in an injured guy because it's number 3 in the world. It's Zverev. We have to put him in. He's our second best player. I'll give him. No. You gotta. That's when you got to go. Hey, Casper, you're playing. You can beat Fritz, or you can play Demonor. You don't risk it. 30 love, and you don't let Zverev You don't let Zverev make the decision if that's what they did. Because it's not about Zverev, it's about the team. And the captain they need a win for the team. And if it's benching Zverev, even if he doesn't like it, if it's benching Zverev, you bench Zverev. All right, lob is short, and Fritz puts away 40 love. He could still win. Yeah, but if he doesn't, I'm not going to repeat myself at the end of the stream. So I'm saying all this now so that when this match is over, I don't have to say it again. 40 love. And I'm going for Team World. So, I mean, to be honest, I don't care. If Zverev's injured, great. That's great for us. But I'm saying, hey, why would they do this? As with a forehand from Fritz, into the backhand of Zverev, Fritz with backhand. Into the forehand of Zverev sliced. Again to the forehand of Fritz. Zverev forehand on the stretch. Goes in the net. 5-2 Fritz. I love this for Fritz if he wins this Laver Cup for the team. After last year's heartbreak, Fritz earned this win. If he can get this, he earned this trophy. He is, and I know Demonor's been great. Maybe he's MVP, but it's going to be him and Fritz. If you come back and win, you're a mug. All right, well, just tell me you're really hardcore Team Europe and staying up at 2 a.m. and tired, and without telling me you're tired. I get you. We all have. I'm wearing red for a reason, right? If Fritz wins, you're a mug. See, I can call you names too. Let's all just call each other names. Rude would have been the way better matchup for Europe against Fritz. I agree. Where's Alcaraz? Oh, Alcaraz is there now. Okay, good. By the way, can I just special mention to Caboli? He's actually been, and I know I've been tearing Europe apart because of the lack of chemistry. But Caboli in the last 2 days, after his first match, losing his first match, he has been the head cheerleader. Like, he has been the most energetic on the bench. He's been the most fired up because he knew that he wasn't going to play anymore. So he's embraced that bench role, and I love it. He's so good. He's been so good. Like, he's bringing the vibes. When everybody else is on their phone and couldn't be bothered, Caboli is jumping around going crazy. And I love that. He is the team man, and he should come back next year for only that reason. Just because he gave a shit and he was doing something. I love that. I love that he's the number one support man. He is the hype man. He's becoming the hype man. Him and Alcaraz. 5-2. A bit of fault second serve. As Zverev serves to stay in the set. All right. Bro, if you're going to threaten me, at least spell house right. All right, Zverev serves. As the backhand return goes in from Fritz to the forehand of Zverev. But Fritz hit it long, 15 love. Opelka hyped it. Oh, I love Opelka too. Opelka's great. Opelka has been awesome on the bench too. I'm shocked. I thought Opelka would be too cool to celebrate, but he loves it. He's the first one out of the chair every time. Opelka, awesome. All right, first serve is a fault by Zverev. Second serve. Second serve. Second serve. Into the forehand of Fritz. Forehand from Zverev. Goes long. 15-0. Does this prove why Zverev will never win a slam? He just doesn't know how to handle pressure. Oh, man, look, I don't think this proves anything about Zverev that we did. I don't think this is anything that we didn't already know about Zverev. Like, I don't think this is like, oh my God, I finally realized why he won't win a slam because he lost the Laver Cup. I don't think that matters. I don't think this match relates to that. Again, I'm more surprised that I think this, and look, oh man, we're just going to bash Zverev now, I guess. But Sasha doesn't play Davis Cup for Germany, right? He rarely plays Davis Cup. He rarely plays these team events, right? I don't know if I know he's played some Hopman Cup, which is an exhibition, it used to be. Does he play United Cup? I don't know. But he doesn't really seem to play these team events. Now, he plays Laver Cup a lot, right? Maybe out of respect for Federer, because Federer is his idol, and he plays for Federer. But he doesn't play these events. So there's a different... I think Zverev is a lot more... And look, tennis is an individual sport, so everyone should be single-minded, right? Out for themselves, selfish, right? But this is an event that's so unique, as Zverev hits a lovely volley. And I know Zverev's played this enough, but Zverev's never really been the man of this event, right? He's always been the second or third guy. He's never been the guy, it's always been him. He's been behind Nadal or Federer or Djokovic or Alcaraz, right? He's never had to be like the guy. And he's probably never felt like he's let the team down because he's never had to be the guy they rely on, like yesterday, right? So it's just a different thing. And then coming in, like I said, if he's injured, it's selfish for him to play if he's injured in this team event when there's better options, right? Now, if he's playing for Germany and he's injured, there's no choice because who do you pick? Struff, right? But there's other options here that they could have picked if he's not 100%. So it's and I'm not saying Zverev is, he's the reason he's playing. Maybe the captains picked him, right? Maybe they asked and he said, I'm fine. And they said, okay. When he's actually probably not 100%, but they could have got, and it's probably a bit of fault for everyone. Maybe Ruud should have stood up and said, hey, I'll play. Let me play. I'll do it, right? Maybe he didn't step up. I don't know. Again, we don't know. We weren't in the locker room, but it just kind of go, well, it's like if you're injured and you're playing in a team event and you're going, I want to play, it's not good to play. You shouldn't be playing injured in a team event. You got to let the other guys step up into your shoes and maybe they win on your behalf and they take your glory, but if you're not 100%, you got to get the guy who's 100% playing, even if it's at your expense. That's what team sports are about. And maybe Zverev and the captains didn't think of that. Maybe Team Europe are not a team. We've been saying it from day one. They're not a team. And maybe they just don't know that. They just didn't think of that. Whereas Team Europe, I know if let's say if Fritz was injured, or let's say if Demonor was injured, like not his ear, but I'm talking about like he has a back injury, maybe they would have replaced him. They would have put in Fonseca, maybe, right? Or Mickelson. I don't think they would have just gone, hey, we're going to play the injured guy because he's number 2 in our team. Doesn't matter. And if it cost them the Laver Cup, then that sucks. 15 love. As a default second serve. Maybe Zverev wanted to redeem himself. Yeah, and I get that too. But if he's not 100%, that's such a... Boy, Zverev is complaining to the umpire about something. 30 love. What happened? Zverev shanked it into the scoreboard, I think. And that's a dead ball. All right, 30 love. And I get it. Like, Zverev wanted to redeem himself, but if he's not fit, they shouldn't have given him the chance. I mean, this is not the time. This is not the time for Zverev to be a hero. There's a smash from Fritz is a winner, 40 love. It was a let. Oh, he was saying it was a let, was it? Yeah, the let cords. The company that did the lets went bankrupt, so the machines don't use the machines anymore. So it's like all manual or something. I don't know, but yeah, there have been some weird calls this tournament. A lot of players thinking there was lets when they weren't called. As Fritz set point goes in the forehand, Zverev slice from Zverev goes into the forehand of Fritz, and Fritz in the net, 40-15. 40-15. I agree. I said it was, selfish, yeah. Yeah. Again, I don't want to put the blame on Zverev that the only reason he's playing is because he wanted to, and he's like, I want to play. Don't tell me not to. I don't think that's the case. I think Henman and maybe Henman and Noah didn't say, didn't step up and say, hey, maybe we shouldn't put the guy who's injured in when we need someone to win. As that goes wide. From Zverev, 6-3. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think it's Zverev. It's just on Zverev playing injured. I don't think it's just on him. You gotta look at you gotta look at the two captains who, why did they pick him? Because they could have picked somebody else. And also, why weren't the rest of the team a little bit more proactive in putting their hand up and saying, mate, let me play, right? I'll play instead of him. Like, maybe Ruud or Rune should have, maybe they did, but let's say they didn't. Maybe they needed to step up and go, hey, if he's injured, he can't play, especially against Fritz. I'll play. Let me play. Like, that's when somebody still ranting. Bro, it's called tennis talk. And I'm talking about tennis. So maybe, and I think Ruud wouldn't have done that. It's not in his nature to kind of go, push people out the way and say, pick me. But Rune might have. Rune could have done that. But again, it's not one person's fault. Maybe the captain should have done it. It's their choice. They chose him. So it's kind of on the captains, I guess. Like, it's probably on the captains. They picked Zverev. They shouldn't have, if he's not 100%. Anyways, I'm Team World and we're winning. So where's Team Europe? Why aren't you telling me this stuff? Why am I having to explain it? You should be saying all of these things. I'm Team World. I don't know why I'm defending your team. Anyways, Fritz is one set away from redemption after last year's Laver Cup loss in the final match to Alcaraz. He now may get a chance to lift the trophy on his win, which I don't think he's ever done. I don't think he's been the one who's won the trophy, and he's been the man who served the ace to win the title, I don't think he's been, because Tiafoe did it a couple of years ago, and I think last year, or 2 years ago, was the doubles, I think, with Shelton, right? I think it was Shelton, and it was a big foe in Shelton in the doubles 2 years ago. I'll tell you this, though, chat. If you put Shelton in this team, yeah, Tiafoe Shelton won the doubles, which then won the title. So Fritz has never been on the court and won the point to win the title. So it'd be great to see him do that. Love 15. You put Shelton in this team, though. Who do you replace with Shelton, though? Maybe Opelka, right? Riley, Opelka came in last minute, but you put Shelton in instead of Opelka. It's a pretty damn good team. Maybe Tiafoe can slot in there somewhere as well. I don't know if you keep Mickelson for the doubles, though. Mickelson was too good in the doubles. Like, do you bring Big Foe in and you get rid of who? Fonseca? Cerundolo? I don't know. I don't think you get rid of Fons. Like, Team World's looking pretty good. Maybe Tommy Paul comes in for Cerundolo. Maybe. But I think Fran's he's been a staple. And he's been really good. Like, he didn't do great against Alcaraz, but he's been great otherwise. I don't know. But if you bring Shelton in for Opelka, this is a hell of a team. Good luck. You need Sinner. You better call Jannik Sinner. All right, 15-0. Was it a 4-0 on the stretch from Zverev? 4-4 rally is Fritz. Into the backhand of Zverev. Backhand for Fritz down the middle. Zverev with the forehand again, the backhand of Fritz. But Zverev hit it out, 15-30. I like this year's Team World. It's not just Team America, though. Yeah, look, there's always going to be more Americans in Team World than anywhere else because America's got the most players. Like, you can't make a team without at least 3 Americans. Like, yeah, okay, maybe you bring in Felix, Auger-Aliassime, or bring in, Shapovalov, or you bring in another Australian, I don't know. But America's always going to make up Team World because they've got the most players. And they've got the most good players, right? You've got 2 guys in the top 10. So America's always going to be the bulk of the team. And when you've got an American captain, they're going to pick Americans, right? John Mack was picking Americans. Agassi was going to pick the Americans. Like, you're going to pick the guys you know as the captain too. 15-30. As it goes wide by Fritz, 30. By the way, shout out to Demonor, who wasn't even going to play. And then he came in and he saved the day. Because if it wasn't for Demon, we wouldn't even be here. So if Demon doesn't play, then what? 30-0. I mean, maybe you bring in Felix and Shelton. Then what do you do? Maybe you take out, I don't know who you take out though. Mickelson for FAA, maybe? I don't know. Mickelson was great though. Anyways, great volley from Zverev, 40-30. And Chad, how do you make Europe better though? Because I think that's the more, like, Team World are doing fine. They don't need these guys if this European team is the same next year. But, I mean, obviously bring in Sinner instead of who? Instead of Caboli, right? Maybe that's probably a swap, a pretty good swap. Caboli's been great team, like he's been a great bench man though. I think he should stay, but maybe he's an alternate next year. As that goes wide by Zverev and his deuce, maybe you bring in Sinner for Caboli, put Caboli instead of Mahat on the bench. I know everyone's going to say Djokovic. Djokovic ain't going to play this anymore. Draper and get Zverev out. Okay, yeah, I mean, Draper's obviously a choice. You can put him in. You can put in Feast. As Zverev serves an ace and it's advantage Zverev. Who else? Who else could they get? Musetti, do you reckon? I don't know if Musetti would make it much of a difference though, compared to obviously you put Draper and Sinner in, and that makes this team a whole lot stronger. Musetti, if you replace Musetti with Menchik, is that better or worse? I think it's probably the same, right? Zverev, by the way, he's fighting, and I respect that. 1-0 Zverev. Lehechka, okay. Djokovic wasn't that great when he played Laver Cup anyways. Yeah, I don't think Djokovic is ever going to play this tournament again. Don't bring Tsitsipas. Okay, well, we're naming players that we're bringing, not bringing, because that would be a long time. FAA team players. Yeah, FAA and Team World would be a huge boost. Keep Caboli on the bench for... Yeah, I think Caboli is an alternate next year. If you start to stack the team for Europe. But how do you get Sinner to play? That's what I want to know. Who convinces Sinner to play? You got to get someone to help, because who knows if Alcaraz plays next year? Does Alcaraz even play? He might not play next year. But if Alcaraz does play, how do you get Sinner to play as well? You're probably going to have to get an Italian captain or something. I don't know who's an Italian legend. I don't know who's a captain that could convince Sinner to play. Because if Borg can't do it, then who the hell do you get? Who could get Sinner to play Laver Cup? What captain would call him and get him and convince him? Darren Cahill. But he's on the world team. He's Team World though. All right, 30 love. Fritz serves again. As we're falling down the line of the slice of Zverev. Boris Becker, you reckon? Boris Becker can't go to London though. Isn't he banned? As we had a lob there from Zverev. Bounce smash from Fritz. Is a winner. And it's 40 love. I reckon that, we got to, and on a serious note, Boris Becker went to prison. And that means he probably can't travel, right? I don't know how long that lasts, but maybe they can't get Becker as a captain because he can't get to the places. And I'm on a serious note, I'm just no jokes. Maybe they can't get Boris Becker because he can't get to the place. They have to be in Germany if they're going to play The Laver Cup in Germany will be the only time that he could be captain. Maybe, I don't know, because it would make sense that he would have been the captain this year with Agassi and Becker would have made sense, right? But I don't know if he can travel. Because when you travel, I mean, Chad, if you've been on a plane, you have to fill out forms, a visa to get into countries. And you have to tell them if you've got a criminal record. And he's been in jail. So, maybe he wouldn't be able to get into America because they're very strict with visas in general. But maybe he wouldn't have been able to get to America because of a visa issue, maybe, Because we know that I don't think he could go to London, right? He can't go to the UK. Because I think he got deported because of what happened. So he won't be able to go to London next year. But then will he be able to go because Boris Becker would make a great captain, I reckon. He would have been the best choice with Agassi this year. It would have made the most sense. Because they played each other as well, and there's that history, but maybe he just couldn't get to San Fran. But yeah, and he would say yes because he's been the captain of Davis Cup. He's been the captain of he's been coaches, players. 15-0. Anyways, something to think about. All right. That's funny, Gene. That's funny. 15-0. All right. Zverev serves again. He's going to serve into the forehand. Fritz, and then Zverev with a volley. All right. Serving and volleying Zverev. Cool. Maybe it works. 30-15. Imagine facing Alcaraz and Sinner in doubles. I'll be honest. That's not that intimidating. Like, what, they're going to win one match together? Whoop-de-doo. Like, that doesn't matter. Who cares? Like, if you're Team World and you see Alcaraz and Sinner playing one match together, who cares? I'm not scared of that. I'm Team World. I don't care. Like, great, you won 2 points. Good for you. Congratulations, you won the 3 points, but you got to win 12 points. You got to win 13 points. All right, cool. So they win one. And by the way, Sinner in doubles is not that good. We've watched Sinner play doubles, and he hasn't won many doubles. It is like a formidable team, but like they only get one chance. So it's not like they're playing like every day in a Grand Slam where you got to play them every day. They literally can play one match here. So like, cool, they won the match, whoop-de-doo, and then like we'll just win the other ones. Like it's not that. It doesn't seem like that big of a deal. Even though it'd be cool to see. I mean, I don't know if Federer and Nadal. Did Federer and Nadal win their matches when they played together? How many of those matches actually made a difference? So yeah, Federer and Nadal won their match against Querrey and Sock back in 2017. It was 10-5 in the final set though, so that was not easy. And then Federer Djokovic lost to Anderson and Sock as Zverev hits a winner and he gets a 2-1. So Federer Djokovic lost to Sock Anderson. And then 2019, Federer and Nadal didn't play because I don't know what reason they didn't play. They didn't play. Was it because Rafa didn't? Why didn't they play? It was Federer Zverev, Nadal Tsitsipas, and then Federer Tsitsipas. Because I think Rafa got injured. On day 3, 2019. Because I know Kyrgios and Rafa were all like, whoa, that's going to be great. And they both got hurt. I'm pretty sure. Like going into day 3, remind me if I'm wrong. 2019 Laver Cup, going to day 3, I think Nadal and Kyrgios both withdrew. Anyways. And then 2022, Federer and Nadal lost to Sock and Tiafoe. So again, these like superstar teams are not guaranteed wins. They might be fun on paper, but they don't win. You know, they're not successful. Sock was a double specialist, though. Exactly. So you got to make sure that Sinner Alcaraz are not playing a doubles guy. But again, it doesn't just because you get two great players doesn't mean they're going to be great doubles. All right. Let's see if Fritz can close the door here because Zverev is fighting. As he hits that one wide, Zverev and it's 15-love. Nadal was hurt. He hurt his wrist in 2019. Okay, I thought so. And didn't Kyrgios hurt his finger or something? Like, I think he had a hand injury, I think. Because they were supposed to play him. I remember getting so fired up for it, and then they both withdrew. And they both pulled out, and we're like, oh, that sucks. All right, 400 rally. As Fritz goes in the backhand Zverev. Fritz with a drop shot. Is very nice. Oh, Zverev gets it, though, and hits it long. 30-love. 30-love. All right. 40-love. Zverev hits it out. 40-love. 40-love. And Caboli, he's on the camera and he's like, what are you looking at me for? 40-love. Backhand return goes to 400 Fritz. Fritz hits it wide and it's 40-15. 40-15. Chad, I want you to give me feedback. Would you have played Zverev? Yes or no? And if no, who would you have played instead? If you're the captain of Team Europe, do you play Zverev? Yes or no? And if not, who do you play? I want to get where you guys are feel because you know what I think. Fritz holds 2-0. Absolutely not. No. Put Rude. Rude all the way. Still Fritz. Okay. Replace with Rude. Casper. Definitely play Casper instead. Rude instead. Put Rude. Mahach. I mean, Mahach technically could have come in if Zverev withdrew. True. So maybe it would have been Mahach. You know what? Actually, I wonder if there's a rule. If Zverev had retired, would Mahach been put in, had to have played in his place? Maybe that's something they had to think about. If they were gonna, but then again, they wouldn't have had to withdraw Zverev. They would have just replaced him with Rude. Actually, forget all I said. Doesn't matter because they wouldn't have had to they wouldn't have taken Zverev out of the competition. They would have just not nominated him to play. They would have just been like, no, we're not going to play Zverev. We're playing Rude. So technically, he didn't withdraw. They just didn't play him. So I guess it doesn't matter. Henman? They would have put Henman in. All right. Love 15. Rude, maybe Runa. Caboli, okay. Couldn't you play doubles anyway? Maybe. But the thing is, Team Europe nominated Zverev to play. So they could have said, no, we're going to play Rude instead and not pulled Zverev out of the tournament. They did, he didn't need to retire, right? He didn't need to withdraw. They could have just not picked him and it wouldn't have made a difference, right? It's not like they didn't pick Rude and then all of a sudden Mahach has to play. They could have just been like, oh, well, Sasha, we're going a different way. We're not going to, they don't have to disclose that he's injured or anything. They could have just swapped him, without telling anyone. Anyways, 15-0. Zverev serves. In the backhand Fritz, return. Into the backhand Zverev. It's Fritz backhand down the line. Zverev with the lob. Fritz with a smash. Good smash. 15-30. Great leap by Fritz. God, Fritz is a Superman today. 15-30. 15-30. 15:30. Zverev serves again. First serve was a fault, second serve. Fritz definitely asking Agassi to be his coach after this. Well, Agassi won't be his coach. But I'll tell you this. If I'm Taylor Fritz, I'm telling his coaches, we're going to Vegas in the off-season. We're hanging out in Las Vegas. We're going to Vegas in the off-season. Backhand to backhand rally. As a forehand now from Fritz into the backhand of Zverev. Into the backhand of Fritz. Do a training camp with Agassi in Vegas. That's what you do. If you're Taylor Fritz going into 2026. There's been a volley from Zverev in the net. 15:40. That's what you do. Korda did it. I think Korda did it a couple of years ago. You know, and I think that's what you do. You play the rest of the season, and then you go, "Hey, Andre, what are you doing in December? Because we're coming to you." And then he can train with Steffi and Andre and try and figure out how to beat Sinner and Alcaraz at the Australian Open. That's the play. That's the play. Because Andre's not going to travel. He's not going to coach every week. He's not going to be there the whole time. So you go to him and you get those little tweaks that he has helped you this week, and then you go to Australia with some new information, you know. 15:40. That's what I do if I'm Fritz. Break points for Fritz. Serve. Into the forehand of Fritz. Zverev backhand. Goes long. There's the break. Yeah, Andre Agassi is located in Vegas. So you go to Agassi in Vegas. Plus also Vegas weather, Australian weather. You know, it's probably not a bad idea to go there anyway. That's what I'd be doing. I'd be doing a training camp with Andre Agassi in Las Vegas in December before going to Australia. That's what I'd do if I'm Fritz. Especially, and I'll tell you what, I think the best thing for Fritz would be to play both Sinner and Alcaraz by the end of the year. And if he loses to them, even more so, go back to Andre and go, "Hey, we beat him how did I beat him at the Laver Cup? And how did he beat me the next time? Let's say they played the ATP Finals." And then you go to Andre and go, "Hey, all right, how do I beat him next time?" Like, you know what I mean? Because I want to see a rematch between him and Alcaraz to see if he's going to use that strategy again and to see how Alcaraz combats that, right? But I also want to see him do that against Sinner and see if it works against Sinner, or if that strategy does anything, right? Because I think out of the two guys, Fritz would probably have more problem with Sinner than Alcaraz. Which sounds weird, but we know that Alcaraz, I mean, look what happened yesterday, right? Alcaraz can throw errors. Sinner doesn't do that as much. So it would be interesting to see him play, Fritz play Sinner with that strategy to see if it makes any difference. Because I don't know if it's going to work as well. Because Sinner's more like Djokovic, and we know about Fritz Djokovic, right? 3-2. Fritz with a set and a break. He's 3 games away from lifting the Laver Cup on his racket. He's with a 4-4 rally. Down the line now in the net from Fritz, love 15. Love 15. All right, love 15. First serve is a fault, second serve. There's a bit of double fault Fritz. Oh no. Is he starting to see the finish line? Love 30. Love 30. As Fritz serves an ace. 15-30. 15-30. As we get a forehand from Zverev in the net, 30-0. All right. 30-0. As a default from Fritz, second serve. As a return from Zverev goes the forehand of Fritz. Forehand from Zverev again, the forehand of Fritz to the backhand of Zverev. Fritz to the backhand. Again to the backhand of Zverev to the forehand of Fritz. And Zverev with the forehand again. Fritz. Great shot. Zverev slices it back. And then Fritz with a forehand winner. 40-30. Great inside-in forehand. That's how he fooled Alcaraz yesterday. Being that aggressive player that nobody expected. Beautiful forehand. All right, 40-30. Great serve out wide, 4-2. Fritz holds from love 30 down. All right. Coaches should be able to coach on the court like this in the ATP. I tell you what, I would not mind that at all. Like, I mean, I like the uniqueness of it when we have Davis Cup and team events, but if they turn around tomorrow and said, hey, your coach is allowed to sit on the bench with you, that would be interesting. I feel like that would be more interesting than having the coaches in the box and just hearing them yap. I'd like seeing them interact side by side. I wouldn't mind that. That could be interesting. If we're going to allow, I don't like the coaching in general, right? I like it being unique to these team events where like it's the captain's coaching. I don't like coaching, sideline coaching anyway. But if we're going to do it, why not bring them on the court and do it? Let's do it. Let's have your coach sit on the bench with you, and then you can actually get coached. And we can all see it and hear it. Like, we're going to do it like that. If we're going to do it like that. Backhand to backhand rally, Zverev. As with a forehand now from Zverev down the line's a winner. It's 30 love. Yeah, all in or all out for coaching. Exactly. It's either don't do it or do it like that. Not this like halfway coaching, where it's like, oh, you can coach from over there, but only sometimes. It's like, what? Just go crazy if we're going to do it. We're going to do it. As the return goes into the forehand of Zverev and Fritz in the net, 40 love. I love how Agassi glued the team together. Europe feel a bit separate. I don't think it's Agassi. I've said this from the start. I think it's just a team culture. Most of the guys in team world have played this tournament before, and know there's a whole thing. I don't think Agassi's been almost been invited into the team, right? But I think Team World have always had that chemistry. They've always been like that. It's been their strength because they didn't have the talent back in the day. I don't think Agassi's been the glue. I think he's just joined what's already been a great glued team. Whereas Team Europe, they don't have any glue. Alcaraz is the glue, but he's also the one who has to win. So I think it's who is the guy that's going to bring the team together next year from Team Europe? Is it Jannik? No, do you give him another shot? Who's going to bring Europe together next year? what player do you get? And don't say Rafa or Roger because they're not coming for 10 years. I'm trying to think who you're going to get. Boris Becker, I think, is a good idea. I think Lendl might not be a great idea because he might be just wanting to play golf the whole time. Murray? I don't know. Is there anyone from like the 90s? Who's like a Davis Cup cap? Maybe like someone like a David Ferrer. Maybe someone who's got like a little bit of Davis Cup experience as a captain. David Ferrer? Would that not be a good choice? I don't know. Somebody who knows how to deal with teams in tennis. Edberg? I don't know. I think Edberg would be too passive. I think he'd just chill. Who's been the Davis Cup captain? Thomas Burdick? Maybe Burdick. Actually, maybe. You know who else? Safin. Goran. Okay, now we're thinking. This is good. As Zverev, it's a lovely volley. Love 15. He needs to break back. Moya might not be a bad idea. I don't know if Murray's a good idea. I don't think Murray's a good idea. Murray's going to be I think Murray would be too chilled. I think Murray would just chill. Hewitt's not European. Yeah, maybe Goran, maybe Goran. Forehand winner there from Fritz, 15-0. They need someone who's a little more vocal. I don't think that's what the European team might need going forward. They need someone who's going to be a little more, maybe tell the players what they don't want to hear, which might not have happened in the 8 years of this tournament. Uh, 15-0. I feel like Ferrero would be a good idea too. Juan Carlos Ferrero might not be a bad idea. At least he's going to have Alcaraz, and then maybe Ferrero is a good idea. But will Ferrero work with Zverev? Anyway, it's 15-30. Oh, will Ferrer work with Zverev? I mean, will Goran work with City? There's some awkwardness now. Will Goran work if, with whoever? Anyway, it's 15-30. We got to factor that in too, right? That's why it's better to get someone who hasn't met these guys before. Anyways, Zverev trying to break back. 15-30. Fritz serves a fault, second serve. Second serve into the back of Zverev. Return to the front of Fritz. Zverev into the back of Fritz. Zverev in control. Down the line, Fritz gets on the stretch. Oh, it hit the tape, but it didn't go over. Zverev is hanging on. 15-40. Uncle Tony? Nah, I think they want to go with ex-players. I don't think Uncle Tony, unfortunately, doesn't fit the bill. All right. Break points for Zverev for the first time today. Serve out wide the corner. Zverev in the net. 30-40. By the way, Team Europe are hiding behind the bench of Zverev. Why are they doing that? And also, why do they only do it when he's winning? 30-40. Obviously, that's an Alcaraz. Alcaraz inspired that. That's an Alcaraz thing. I'm going to read out what Joao Fonseca said about Alcaraz in the next game. As with a fault from Fritz. Oh, that was close. Second serve. 30-40. Serve into the backhand of Zverev. Backhand for Fritz. Into the backhand of Zverev. Zverev pushed it wide. And Zverev's racket goes flying. Deuce. And all of Team Europe retreat back to the chair. See, chat? They're only there for the good times. By the way, that was the backhand. That was Old Faithful, and you missed it. All right, deuce. As Fritz serves a massive serve down the tee. Return goes in. Fritz then forehand to the forehand of Zverev. Into the forehand of Fritz. As Zverev forehand again. Fritz is dominant and wins the point. Advantage Fritz. And Zverev yelling at himself. Advantage Fritz. To stay up the break in this second set. Thought you'd like that, yeah. I love that from Fonseca. It just shows how, it just shows where he is. Like, it's, how do you not, like, that's part of the problem with some of these players. They respect each other too much. I love that. Makes me like Joao even more. Backhand return. Into the backhand of Fritz. Backhand out from Zverev to the backhand of Fritz. Into the backhand of Zverev as Fritz backhand again. Zverev goes down the line. Fritz with a slice in the net. Back to deuce. This is crucial. This is a crucial game. All right. All right, deuce. Fritz needs serves. He serves a fault. Oh, God, he's getting tight. Second serve. Serving to the backhand, Zverev return into the forehand of Fritz. Zverev backhand. Into the backhand of Fritz. Zverev backhand again. To the backhand of Fritz. Zverev again with the backhand. To the backhand of Fritz. It's gone backhand to backhand. That's Fritz again with the backhand. To the backhand of Zverev. Fritz backhand again. Into the forehand of Zverev. And Zverev goes down the line for a winner. Fritz doesn't, he's not playing aggressive. He's waiting for an error. Advantage Zverev. Advantage Zverev. And Alcaraz pushing people around? What the hell? What's going on? Alcaraz, by the way, pushed Menchik, but like fell backwards. It was very weak. He's like, oh. What the hell? All right, advantage Zverev to get back on serve. Serve out wide from Fritz. Zverev gets it back. And then Fritz down the line. Zverev with the pass. Fritz with the volley. Oh, it's wide! And Fritz runs to Zverev. Sorry, not Fritz. Zverev runs to Alcaraz. And with a massive high five, chat. It's Team Alcaraz. He's the coach and the captain and the Neymar team. He's the team. He is the team. Zverev ran straight to Alcaraz. And a massive high five. It was, again, Jannik, I don't know where Jannik Noah was. But Zverev, I mean, it's 4-4. There's not even a change of ends, and he ran to the change of ends. All right. God, what? Fritz got tight. Now, see, again, chat, Team Europe only get up when they're winning. Come on. They only do this when they're winning. Except for Alcaraz, who's there all the time. But it's Team Alcaraz. I told you this, and it's always going to be that. 4-4. Fritz got tight. And now Zverev has got momentum, and this is scary. 15-love. 15-love. Zverev has got momentum. 15-love. As Zverev serves. A fault, second serve. All right, serve again. As the return goes in, the forehand is Zverev. Backing up for Fritz. Passing shot. Just missed. 30-love. So this is the scary thing. Zverev, he played terrible yesterday, but when it comes to this part of the Laver Cup, day 3 Laver Cup, he is a different dude. Even though he looked terrible for the first set and a half. The format, you don't have to be good for the entire... You can be good for half a set and still win. Because they play the tiebreak in the third. Return goes in, Zverev comes in, puts it down, Fritz puts up a lob. Zverev puts away the smash, 40 love. Like if they play that 10-point tiebreak, there's no third set. If there was a third set, I'd be like, oh, well, Fritz can recover. But if Fritz goes down in this set, it's like, oh shit, the match is almost over. All right, 40 love. Zverev to take the lead. Zverev serves a fault, second serve. Second serve. Into the backhand of Fritz. Return. To the backhand of Zverev. Zverev hits it out. 40-15. All right, 40-15. All right, serve again, Zverev. 40-15. Ace out wide, all right. Team Europe are back. Fritz is going to serve to stay in it. Or at least to stay in this set. Man. That back injury disappeared. Adrenaline. Now, this is what Fonseca said. I didn't hear him say this in the Cerundolo match. And look, I know that people are going to get upset because it's. I think this is great for him, but you know, I think if he said this against Sinner or about Sinner as well, I'd say the exact same thing as I'm going to say now. But this is what Fonseca said to Cerundolo about playing Alcaraz. He said, "I know he's Carlos. Everyone knows how good he is, but you can beat everyone. Yes, he's being unbelievable, but I don't give an F about Carlos. Believe in yourself." That is from Fonseca. That's the kind of shit that we need to see. If you're going to beat Alcaraz or Sinner, you can't care about who they are. You can't be like, but it's Alcaraz, but it's Sinner. And that's why Fonseca is going to be someone, because he's already got the mentality of like, I don't care who he is. And that's not, he was saying that to somebody else, but he believes that. Whereas Cerundolo was like, I'm playing Alcaraz, right? You're already lost. So I love that from Fons, that he's already like, I don't care. I don't care who he is. That's half the battle. Anyways, Fritz serving to stay in it. So that tells me a lot about Fonseca. I love that. That he doesn't fear these guys, or at least when he was saying the right things to the guys who are playing, and when he gets to play them, I wonder if he say the same. But I like that mentality from him to go, you know what? I don't care. As Zverev can't hit the volley, 15 love. That's not even a little bit disrespectful. That's fair play in my opinion. I mean, yeah, anyone who's getting like sad over that, relax. It's okay. It's not that deep. But I love that from Fonseca. I love that he's like, I don't care. I don't care if he's Carlos and he's playing great. Who cares? He's got the balls to say that. I mean, that's awesome. That's good. That's what we need. 15 love. You know another guy who thinks like that? Runa. Shelton, right? Like these guys, they might not say it, but they think that way too. That's why they have been better against those guys than maybe some of the other guys. Anyways, 30 love. As we return now into the forehand of Fritz. Fritz, it's a winner, 40 love. All right, 40 love. Great serving, Fritz. All right, 5-5. Words need to be backed up, though, but good luck. I agree. I mean, like, I just love that that's how he's thinking. That he hasn't put Alcaraz on a pedestal as like, well, he's the best, and oh my God, Alcaraz is amazing. Look how good he is. Like, Fonseca isn't thinking like, at least he's not saying it today. But he's not idolizing Alcaraz. And that's, I mean, look, do you think Djokovic respected Federer and Nadal when they were dominating? No. He came out there and he was like, I don't care who they are. And if he didn't do that, if he was like, oh, Roger, oh my God, Roger's got 14 slams, you're the best, then Novak wouldn't have done half the things he did. Like, you can't, if you're going to beat Alcaraz and Sinner in the future, you can't put them on a pedestal. You got to come out there and you got to be like, who are you? I'm going to play you like I play everybody, and I'm going to beat you like I beat the other guys. Like, you can respect their game and respect what they've done, but you don't have to show respect to them and bow down to them, you know? You don't have to do that. There's no rules about that. All right, 15-0. And I love that from Fonseca. Now we need him to play Alcaraz. Now we need him to play Alcaraz at some point in the next in the next 12 months. Anyway, serve out wide, the forehand of Fritz. Backing up from Zverev. Fritz runs around, hits a forehand inside out. That's a great shot. Zverev gets it. Fritz, forehand, down the line is long. Oh no, he shanked it. 30-15. 30-15. All right, 30-15. Zverev serves again. As a return, goes out by Fritz, 40-15. $40-15. $40-15. As a return, goes out by Fritz. All right, Zverev. He's going to have to play 2 tie breaks if he's going to keep this team alive. Or can Fritz figure it out? And again, I don't know where Jannik Noah went, but Alcaraz is now the captain. He's the only one that Sasha will listen to. And he's the only one probably with the balls to talk to Sasha and tell him what to do. Oh, but he's asking rude questions too. I like this. You know what? Respect to Zverev for asking for Rude's help. That's interesting. I wouldn't have thought I would see that Zverev would be like, hey, Casper, tell me what I should do. That's interesting. I love it. I love that. And Rude's just like, just go for it, man. Just do it. Just go for it on this game. Like, what, are you going to play a tiebreak? Who cares? Just go for it. And I'm like, that's so cool from Zverev. I like that from Zverev. I like that. He's not too, there's no ego there, right? Asking for help from his competition, right? All right, that's good. Anyways, let's see if Fritz can get to this tiebreak. And it kind of shows how much, I guess, Zverev respects Rude's opinion too, right? I mean, it's good to see. That's what the team is all about. That's what the team is about. Backhand rally. As Fritz down the line, great shot. Zverev gets there as Fritz hits a drop shot. But Ren runs backwards. Oh no, Fritz puts up a lob. Zverev with a smash. No. He hits a forehand instead. This is an ugly rally. And then Fritz goes down the line. Zverev with a passing shot winner. That was a weird rally. And Zverev down on his knees, Rafa style celebration. By the way, where are the people that thought that like nobody cares about this tournament? Like, who gives a shit? Like, where are those people gone? Where are the people that said these players are only here for the money? Like, where are you go? Where do those people go? Because you don't react like that in an exhibition. You don't fall to your knees and celebrate like Rafa did in whatever it was, 2012 against Novak in the Australian Open final. You don't celebrate like that unless you give a shit. 15-all as Fritz then serves an ace. Crazy backhand, though. That was a crazy backhand. And Zverev, you don't think Zverev wants this? Come on now. You don't think he cares? Somebody died. Oh, it was Alcaraz. He died. Alcaraz fainted in the box. See, Chad, if they don't have Alcaraz, they don't have these reactions. Backhand rally. The team Europe have just become a team. All of a sudden. Backhand rally, and that goes in the net from Zverev, 30-15. Team Europe have turned, and it's all because of Alcaraz, right? He's not there. They're not doing that. They're not reacting this way. It's Team Alcaraz, I told you. 30-15. 30-15. Serving to the forehand of Zverev. Forehand from Fritz. The forehand of Zverev. Into the forehand of Fritz. Zverev forehand again. To the forehand of Fritz. Zverev down the line. Fritz is there with the backhand. Zverev slices it back. Into the forehand of Fritz. Zverev backhand again. To the forehand of Fritz. Zverev, forehand cross court. Fritz gets it with his forehand, goes down the line. Zverev is there with the backhand. It's Fritz. Forehand cross court. Zverev's got it. Fritz in trouble. Backhand cross out in the net. 30-all. 30-all. Oh no. Thirty-all. Fritz needs serves. Fritz needs serves. Thirty-all. That's a fault. Second serve. Second serve, the backhand is Zverev. Backhand for Fritz. Into the backhand is Zverev. It's Fritz. Backhand down the line. Great shot. Zverev gets it with a slice. It goes in. Fritz forehand down the line. Zverev defends. Again to the backhand of Fritz. Down the line again. Zverev can't get it. That's a great shot by Fritz. Woo! All right. This match just got real serious. 40-30. The last, 6 games, the level is so high. These guys are going nuts, and this is crazy. What a backhand. Zverev is forcing Fritz to play better. This is what it's all about, chat. This is the Laver Cup. This is what it's all about. As Fritz serves the forehand, Zverev return goes the forehand of Fritz. That's a great shot from Fritz. 2 massive winners. Tie break. Who you got? Zverev must win this tie break. 6-6. Fritz is 1 tie break away from the Laver Cup. Remember, if Zverev wins this, they play a 10-point tie break. Remember, there's only first to 7 this one. This is first to 7. First to 7 this tie break. It's a regulation tie break. All right. 6-all. Here we go. Zverev serves. Into the backhand of Fritz. Return to the backhand of Zverev. Fritz. Down the line. Zverev's got it. Into the backhand of Fritz. Zverev backhand again. To the backhand of Fritz. To the backhand of Zverev. It's Fritz. Forehand. Good shot. Zverev gets it. Fritz on the attack. Goes down the line. Zverev with a lob. Is in the net. 1-0. Agassi's fired up. 1-0 Fritz. Fritz has to go for it. He has to do this. Like if Zverev wins this tiebreak, we're going to a doubles because Zverev's probably going to win the next one too. Fritz needs this to finish it here. (1-0). Fritz needs to be aggressive. Because Zverev's not giving him the errors that he was in the first set. Zverev is playing so much better now. 1-0 Fritz. Serve to the back end. It's Zverev. Good body serve on the second, but Fritz comes to the net. Zverev puts up another lob, but it's going out by a mile. All right, 2-0 Fritz. Fonseca's going nuts. Opelka's losing his mind. The frat boys. What's San Francisco's college? Where the boys from? Where's a college in San Francisco? They're definitely the college guys. They're coming out to watch. Anyways, forehand goes into the volley of Zverev. Backhand for Fritz is a lob. Oh, it went in! And he just points at Agassi. He's like, yes! 3-0. Agassi's reaction. All right. He just goes like this. Yep. You got the lob. 3-0. Crazy lob. Zverev had a chance to smash that as well, but he chose not to. He went for the smash and he went, nah, I'm going to let it drop, and it landed in. Stanford? Yeah, the Berkeley boys. The Berkeley boys. That was in by like this much as well. That wasn't even close to being out. Zverev needed to hit that. 3-love. The Stanford boys. All right, 3-love. Serving to the backhand of Fritz. Zverev with the forehand down the line. Fritz gets it with a slice in the net. 3-1. Now, Fritz got to be careful because it's only one mini break. It's only one mini break. 3-1. Still Zverev with a serve. Serve again from Zverev. Ace. All right. 3-2 Fritz. Zverev is playing a lot better than probably the first, I want to say set and a half. A lot better. Can Fritz hold his nerve? He's already had an opportunity to win this by serving for it. Now he just needs to hold serve 4 times and he wins. 3-2 Fritz. He serves. Out wide, Zverev returns into the backhand of Fritz. Zverev, forehand. Into the forehand of Fritz. Zverev forehand again. Into the forehand of Fritz. Zverev goes down the line. Fritz is there with the backhand. Zverev hits his backhand. Into the backhand of Fritz. Zverev. Oh, Fritz went wide. 3-all. 3-all. They change ends. Fritz got nervous. That backhand was tight. 3-3. I tell you, Fritz needs a free point here. Just a big old serve. 3-all. Federer's on his feet. All right, 3-all. By the way, they have played a lot of tie breaks against each other in recent matches. Let me have a look at what their recent tie breaks have been. So yeah, they played a tie break in Stuttgart this year. Fritz got the tie break win. In fact, Fritz has won their last 5 tie breaks they've played. The last time Zverev won a tie break was back in Wimbledon 2020. Last year's Wimbledon where he won the second set tiebreak. Since then, Fritz has won 5 tiebreaks in a row against Zverev. 4-3. Good serve, Fritz. In fact, Fritz has won... Holy shit, he's won 7 out of their 9 tiebreaks. Zverev's only won 2 tiebreaks out of 9 against Fritz. That's crazy. Anyways, 4-3. Serve into the forehand of Fritz. Returned to the backhand of Zverev. Fritz backhand. Goes again to the backhand of Zverev. Into the forehand of Fritz. Zverev backhand again. To the forehand of Fritz. Who shanks it, but it goes in. Zverev backhand again to the backhand of Fritz. Into the forehand of Zverev. Fritz backhand. Goes again to the backhand of Zverev. Zverev in control. Fritz doing the running. Is with a forehand. Off the tape and out by Zverev. 5-3 Fritz. That's unlucky for Sasha. He was in control. All right. Fritz gets a mini break again. The ball hit the tape and went wide. 5-3 Fritz. 2 points away from winning the Laver Cup. Team World. But it's on Zverev's serve here. 5-3 he serves. Out wide, good serve. 5-4. Fritz has got it on his racket. Zverev was going to serve and volley, which is insane but effective. When it works, it's great. 5-4 Fritz. He needs to serve. He needs the serve. Fritz serves. Out wide, Zverev slices it back. In comes Fritz. Zverev puts up a lob. Oh no. Fritz with a smash. He puts it away. No, Zverev gets it. But it goes long. Match point for Fritz. Guys, Zverev was great at defense there, but just wasn't enough. Laver Cup point. I hate that. It's championship point, all right? Laver Cup point. That's... Come on, we can do better than that. 6-4. Fritz to win the Laver Cup for the world. He serves. A fault. Oh, God. Second serve. Second serve to the backhand of Zverev. Return into the forehand of Fritz. Zverev. Forehand again to the forehand of Fritz. Zverev again with a forehand. Fritz on the attack. And Zverev with a forehand on the stretch. Goes in. Fritz down the line. Zverev with a passing shot. Fritz with a volley. Too good. Team World win. Team World win. And they surround Fritz, who is the MVP. He's got to be. He beat 2 guys who are in the top 3 when they needed to win. Fritz wins. Agassi wins. And the world win. They've won 3 of the last 4. Love that. Poor Zverev. I mean, look, Zverev had a shocking day yesterday. And he fought valiantly today. But I think it was too much to put on him. If he wasn't 100%, I think it was... why are we chucking him in if he's not 100%? Risky moves by Europe didn't pay off. Menchik and Zverev playing, it was risky, but I mean, maybe they felt like they had to do it. But Team World win. They've won 3 out of the last 4. And now Europe have to figure out who they're going to pick next year to try and win this trophy again. All right. GG's. Love that for Fritz. He played so well yesterday. He deserved. And after last year when he played Alcaraz to lose the Laver Cup, and he was on the losing end of that match, full circle. Love that for him. And he's beaten Zverev 6 times in a row now. Like, he beats Zverev when they play. Like, it's 6 in a row now. It's crazy. Man. What a fun tournament. What a fun event. The Laver Cup. I love the Laver Cup. It's so different and so fun. I love it. So much fun. I loved it last year, even though, well, I don't love it when the world win, just when they win. I love it when they play. It's just fun. So much fun. So much fun. It's so unique. It kind of feels a little bit like Davis Cup finals when you have the best players in the world playing each other for the trophy. It kind of feels like that vibe a little bit. Crossed with like a little bit of ATP finals because you get the best players playing the best players. Like has that kind of like Davis Cup cross ATP finals vibe. So I love that. It's so much fun. MVPs are Fritz and Demon by far. Yeah, I don't know. Do you give it to Demon because he won more points? Because he won doubles and singles? Or do you give it to Fritz because he beat higher ranked players? And he won the important matches? Maybe you give it to Fritz because of that. But then Demon won, 7 points? That's a lot of points. For the 7, that's more than half the points they needed. Whereas Fritz won 5 points? It's got to be between those guys, obviously. And special mention to Mickelson in the doubles. Because Mickelson was the reason why they won the doubles yesterday. Like Mickelson was the unexpected doubles guy. And he almost beat Menchik on day one. So special mention to Mickelson, who was a great addition. He definitely was a great addition. Obviously Fonzie was great. Opelka, he was great on the bench. Like, he was a great supporter. Like he was so loud. I loved it. Obviously Agassi was amazing. Paddy Rafter deserves credit too, because if it wasn't for Rafter and Agassi as a team, a captain team, that, I think Rafter was keeping the spirits high on the bench. So, love that. You made Laver Cup fun? I mean, it makes itself fun. I mean, it is fun. I don't need to do anything. I love watching it. That's why we watched pretty much every match, which I didn't expect, but world win because the Laver Cup too slow, the runaway train. For the Laver Cup to run. What do you mean? So glad you feel better. I'm still absolutely stuffed, but the first couple of matches, I'm just waiting for. I knew that we are going to come down to this match, so we're just waiting and waiting and waiting. But yeah, I love it. I love the Laver Cup. I think it's a great tournament. And yeah. Agassi was a vibe. Yeah, Agassi was awesome. He was great. I hope he comes back next year. Great tournament, fun every year. I agree. I'll tell you what, though. Europe need to figure it out because they can't rely on Alcaraz. It's not fair on him. Last year was only, like, they wouldn't have won without Alcaraz. And this year, they tried to win only with Alcaraz again, and it didn't work. So, Team Europe need to give Alcaraz some support because you can't just get him in and go, well, he'll win, and then we'll do the rest. They can't rely on just one guy. They need a better team. Yeah, Ruud should have played today. I think Ruud should have played today in singles. And, yeah, they messed up with that. Ruud is a great support for Alcaraz, but they didn't use him. So, yeah, I think last year and this year last year was, they got lucky that Alcaraz was him last year and won 8 points and dominated his matches. But this year it showed that if Alcaraz doesn't win, and that could happen, he can lose sometimes. They can't put it on Alcaraz to win this tournament every year. Sorry, it's not up to Alcaraz to win this. They need a better team. They need more support. And I'm not saying bring in Sinner. That might not be the answer. Maybe it is. Maybe it's not. I think they need to bring in guys that Alcaraz can rely on, and that are not going to play for themselves. That are going to, that have a more team. And I'm not saying the guys that played didn't play for the team, but they need a more cohesive team. Like putting Alcaraz in, again, Ruud should have played another singles. I don't know why they didn't give him another chance. He won 2 out of 3 matches, Ruud. Zverev, I feel like Zverev was a bit stiff this week with, if he had a back issue yesterday and he wasn't able to play his best, that was a bit unlucky. but they shouldn't have played him if he was not 100%. I feel like you got to keep Mensik. I think he put in a good performance. I don't know what you do with Runa, because I don't think you get rid of Rude. You got to keep Rude. He's got too much experience at Laver Cups, and he's reliable. Maybe you replace Runa with somebody. I don't know who. It sucks because Runa's a good player, and he didn't play bad, But if you're gonna have to get somebody else who's maybe more team orientated that could mesh with the guys, I don't know. Because it does, every time you look at Europe, they don't look like a team. They're just a bunch of guys who are sitting on the bench. Like they're not, only Alcaraz is the one who's high-fiving and pushing everyone. Like no one else is doing that. You need another Alcaraz with not game-wise, but energy-wise, right? You need another, the guy who's cracking jokes on the bench. It's what makes Kyrgios and Tiafoe so good when they play these events, because they're sitting on the bench and they're keeping up the morale. You need someone like that. Now, Caboli did that pretty well today, but he was kind of that guy. You need another guy though. You need another one, because you can't rely on Alcaraz to win all these matches and then also coach the team and then also have to be the cheerleader. Like Alcaraz can't beat everyone. You gotta get someone else to be that guy. Face, maybe. But you need someone who gets along with everyone. I don't know if Feast gets along with everyone. Didn't him and Menchik have a battle? I don't know. I don't know if Feast would work, because I don't know if he'd buy into the we're friends today. I don't know. And him and Zverev, no, Feast is injured, but we're saying next year. You need someone who everyone likes, like everyone gets along with, and they can also boost everyone's energies. Maybe Dimitrov. Yeah, maybe. Hurkacz is Mr. Nice Guy, but could he, you need, who am I thinking? Let me go down the list. I'll tell you who they need, right? They need, Bublik would play for the world, so you can't get Bublik, but he wouldn't be a bad idea if Europe could snatch Bublik. Caboli was awesome. I think he was great as a supporter. He was great. I don't know. I don't know if there's a personality like that. I don't know if there's a personality like that. Well, maybe get Berrettini, right? If you get Berrettini, he's kind of that older. Like by next year he'll be 30. Maybe get Berrettini, right? Competent in the game, but also he'd be able to fire people up because Berrettini's got fire, but he can also maybe crack some jokes. Like maybe Berrettini's that guy. Maybe you need like a Berrettini. Also, everyone likes Berrettini, right? Everybody likes Berrettini. Like everybody likes Berrettini. It's just a test. It's fine. It's just a test. Yeah, I reckon maybe Berrettini's the man. Maybe that's who you go with. Just a thought. Also, Berrettini's got the experience that most of those guys don't have. He's Grand Slam finalist. He's played, he's played everybody, right? I don't know. I feel like Berrettini. All right, we get it. It works. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like Berrettini might be a good spot. I don't know if is Draper the kind of, could he be making jokes though? Like it works. Yeah, you need like someone who's got that personality. That's what they're lacking. Someone on the bench who can, because it just doesn't feel like they're really. You need a glue, right? You need the glue. I don't know if Draper would be the glue. Is Draper? I don't know. I haven't seen Draper in team events enough. But I think Berrettini, we've seen Berrettini play this before. We've seen him in Davis Cup. I don't know. I just think Berrettini would be a good guy to have. Hashanov? Maybe. I don't know. Is Hashanov, could he be the glue? I don't know. Fanini, he retired. So maybe Fanini as a co-captain. maybe you get Fanini as a vice captain, and he could be on the bench. Like maybe you do get Fanini for that. Maybe that's not a bad idea. Rublev, I don't know if Rublev, Musetti, I don't know. I don't think these guys are the thing. You guys aren't listening to what I'm saying. You need someone who's comfortable with everybody, who's not going to be super serious and super like, but also going to be chatty. Like Monfils is a good one. Maybe Monf, but again, is he going to be around for 12 months? And he already played this once and he didn't really understand what the hell it was about. So I don't know. I think Berrettini, it would be a good one. Djokovic, I mean, yeah. But no, Djokovic won't play, so he's not going to play this. Yeah, look, you need a veteran, though. I think you need someone like maybe Dimitrov. Actually, Dimitrov, Lemont, Berrettini, like those are the guys that are going to bring everyone together, right? Someone who's friends with everybody and can bring everyone together, but also fire them up. Like Berrettini's got that fire too, right? He's got that. He could, So yeah, maybe they do need Dimitrov next year. Maybe Dimitrov is the guy, or Berrettini. I think those two are good options because they just lack that chemistry, and I feel like those guys are guys that are they're gonna have fun. But also, they're obviously going to be there to, and be serious. But also, maybe Berrettini's too young. Maybe you do need Dimitrov because he's a little bit older. He's been around a little longer. He's got a little bit more experience. Maybe you do need Dimitrov. He might be the glue. But yeah, you just need someone to like bring up the morale or like, I don't know. They're just lacking that, I think. And you can't put that on Alcaraz because he's got to win. He's got to play. You can't put it on Alcaraz. It's not Alcaraz's job. He's winning matches. Let him win, and everyone else can, he shouldn't be the one who has to do that because he's doing enough. He does enough for Team Europe. He doesn't. You can't make him do everything. Caboli was quite good already. I thought Caboli was good on the bench too. I thought he did a really good job today and yesterday. First day, because he was playing, I think maybe he was some nervousness, but I think Caboli was such a character the last couple of days. And I thought that was awesome. He was on his feet. He was making jokes. Like, he seemed like he was comfortable, with it. So that was good. I like that from him. Alcaraz lost to Fritz in a dominant way. Yep. Anyways, that's it. Laver Cup's done. Now, we're going to Asia tomorrow or the next day. I don't know what day. But we're going to be watching, Beijing, Tokyo next week. But yeah, we're going to have a couple of days. We're not going to watch too much over the next few days. But we'll see. Big Mac.
I honestly would like Carlos to skip this event next year. Let him get rest and get ready for the final quarter of the tennis season. Carlos can do without the Laver Cup. Let someone else step up.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I tell you that I think that decision will be made if he doesn't play well for the rest of the year, and if they point at this and go, "Hey, he shouldn't have played that." But I agree. I mean, look, if Alcaraz doesn't play next year, he's got nothing to prove. It's not like he has to play. Yeah, I mean, maybe they get Sinner instead of Alcaraz if they can get Sinner. But yeah, thanks for the $2. All right. Team World win. Again, I love that Team World win because for so long it was just heartbreak for Team World. It was just always like an uphill battle. But now, Europe and the world are level. Where it's even, almost even. It's 5-3. We're getting closer. And Fritz wins the Laver Cup for Team World. He beats Zverev to do it, and he is the hero of the tournament. And now we go to Asia. We're going to watch most of these guys next week playing against each other, which is going to be weird now. We're going to see, I think Ruud and Alcaraz are playing in Tokyo together. It's against each other. It's going to be weird. But even though it's only been 3 days, it feels like they've been friends forever. But yeah, Next week, we go to Asia, so I'll see you guys then. Thanks for hanging out. Hopefully you enjoyed the Laver Cup. I have. It's been fun.